So today we're going to make this card, this little box card. There are going to be some alterations though, because we there's just a few things I wanted to change. Like I'm going to move the yellow part from behind his face up a little bit, and this leaf needs to go a little bit more to the left. Like there's just too many elements here on the right hand side. And there'd be some elements that you just don't see on the next one. Like this was from a kit and it's the only part that I have. Originally the ghost was up here, but I moved him to the side. You don't have to put him on there. I was thinking about decorating this side too. Just a little tweaks and customizations to make it kind of more unique and more your own. This is a rub-on, so we'll have to change the saying on the back. I actually have some stickers in here that I want to use for that. And I was holding out for this last and final one. Some of the supplies that I use are these 3D dots, right, in square or in round. I have them in black and in white. And then my favorite new thing right now is this score tape. And I've used it a little bit on this box, but not a lot, just because there's some kind of finicky little places where you got to squeeze some stuff in and it kind of catches on the tape first and then you can't get it to undo. And then this Scotch tacky glue, okay? This is a really old Cricut spatula, and you use it to get things off your mat, but then I also use it just to kind of pick up some of these papers, because I could spend forever just trying to get my fingernail hooked underneath there. Okay, and I've already inked my edges with this Memento gray flannel. It's not my favorite. I actually like the chalk inks better, but I ran out and I thought I'd try these, and they're, yeah, not my favorite, but we used it. I've put a few things together, like the spider, and this one here, I forgot to set the score line on the top of this when I ran it through my Cricut, and so I just glued a little frame or a hinge in there basically so that I could salvage that piece of paper. And when you glue this piece over the flames, there's going to be a little bit that kind of hangs up. That's to fold over so that it just makes a nice smooth edge right there. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and fold along your score lines, and then I'm going to start laying things out with the piece that they go on so that I'm ready to assemble. Okay, so I'm going to move this out of the way and start putting pieces out. We'll see if we can find a way to do this in this space. So just fold your score lines and set the pieces out. This is an inside panel. It's actually panel number 3, and when you follow the directions on the PDF, it'll tell you that otherwise it's kind of, or sorry, this is panel number 2. It goes in the middle. It tells you on the PDF, and you can kind of follow the directions on there to see what elements go on which panel. Okay, if they don't have like a double edge like this and they just have these little tabs, then that means they're an inside panel. And I'm going to work on the front and back first, I think. Okay, so then this would be panel 1. It's the bubbles and a star. And then some of the pieces you just got to kind of pay attention to how you put them in there so that they're actually 3D. So let's start with these. And each one of these is going to get that. And I've already pre-inked the edges of all these. And then this one's got the star, so you can either go both ways. Like when you print it on the pattern, if you don't like the one that you've got, you can kind of switch it for the one that you like the best, with this one anyway, because it's reversible. What else do I need on there? The moon. Okay, so let's just start attaching some of that. And you could use the score tape here, but since I'm already going to be using the glue for everything else, I'm just going to use it. I debated between these pumpkins and that plaid just to kind of lighten things up, but it's Halloween, it's supposed to be a little darker. And I wanted to incorporate pumpkins into it somehow, and I couldn't fit them in element wise, so I figured I'd fit them in design wise. Okay, but I do like this plaid, so that's how I'm going to do the star. And I did this to myself last time too. This frame goes right here, and it kind of shows the star over the underneath. So you can either choose to put the frame down first and then the star, or the star and then the frame. And I'm going to just go with the star and then the frame because there's going to be a little white piece that goes in there and it's going to kind of cover. Move that out of the way. Okay, so then this frame, and then I'm going to pop dot the moon. And last time I didn't ink the moon, but this time I think I want to. And I want to ink this white insert. So to ink it, you just kind of hold the edge of your ink and swipe along the edges. The more you tilt it in towards your paper, the more of a wipe you're going to get. Okay. Mostly I just want a little bit of definition on the edge. And it just kind of makes it feel a little more completed. Okay, so then I'm going to glue this in. This is where the saying's going to go on the back of the card. And that's where I'm going to stick those stickers. So you can see there's a little bit of that star kind of poking through right there, but it's not enough to really worry about. I'm going to use a white square on this one just because I'm running out of black circles. We'll save them for more key areas. Okay, so that part's done, other than our little saying, and let's see what we want on there. I wanted to put "it's almost dark out" from before, and then I kind of want to use one of the spiders, but I also have, you're gonna have to forgive me because a lot of these supplies are old. I just keep like a Halloween stash. So this is a doodle bug, and I don't know if they make them anymore, mini doodle pops, but I want to put this little 3D foam spider on there. Okay, and that's the last of those. So this panel's done. Okay, we're gonna do this panel next, and it has a spider and 2 parts of his web. And then we could actually do another saying on there too. Let me find the other part of his web. Here we go. Okay, so I really wish that one was reversible, but it wasn't. One thing that you can do when you're cutting out on your Cricut is you can move a piece, like an element that you need to cut. Like if you edit the mat and tell it move the piece, or like basically edit the mat, and it opens up that window, and then you can move it to a different section of your cutting mat, and then just throw down a different pattern paper so that you can use little bits and pieces of different ones. It's kind of what I do if they're kind of grouped together and by a color, and I forgot to change it, or I change my mind in the middle of making it. I'm going to put this one up here. Make sure it doesn't. Good enough. Okay, so that front panel's done now. Now we can start working on the insides. So for the first one, for the bubbles, I did these white, this one goes in the back, like a bubble insert or a bubble foundation, basically. Not sure, oh here it is, it was hiding from me. So you can either glue this on first and then pop dot your bubbles, or you can glue your bubbles to it and then pop dot them. And I was going to glue my bubbles this time because it's kind of a flimsy paper. So I want these glued down, and then I'm going to pop dot that, and then the star will go behind so I can just lay it down flat, unless I've got room for a pop dot for the middle. It really just depends on papers that you use and element styles that you like. You can take some freedom with the way you put this together. Make it unique, make it your own. Okay. Got one more bubble to put on there. I think it was this big one. This one goes with that one, and that one, and this one. Okay. And in this case, the the white's kind of covering, so I'm actually going to rotate this bubble so that it still hits a white with a reflection. It doesn't quite match the physics of reflections, but I don't really care. This one needs a little glue. Okay, so that's going to get pop dotted, and we need the star that goes there. There's this one's going to be the inside, and I think this one was the outside. Yeah. So I'm going to glue that on first. I gotta get used to working further away from myself here. Okay. And then this one, I think I have room to pop dot them both. Let's just try it. Put a square on the back there. Oops. And then a big old chunk of pop dot on the back of the bubbles. Oh yeah. So I gotta get it lined up right. Okay, so the bubbles are done. That's panel 1. Then we need panel 2, which is the cat. I'm going to scooch these bubbles out of the way. They go on panel 3. The other thing to watch with this one is, so I put this yellow behind the cat face, right, so that his eyes look a little bit more bright and cheery. On this one, I pop dotted him, and I feel like it kind of made his face a little bit too dark. And the other thing is, the bubbles need to be able to go either behind him. Actually, you could probably mix them over too. Let's just play with it, but I want to glue this one to the cat this time. I'm not going to pop dot it. I think it's going to make his face a little brighter. Get that all lined up. It's got kind of a little yellow halo, and that's kind of cute too. Okay, so that's done. Now we have to decide how we want to do the bubbles. So I'm going to put the cauldron down. On the first one, I also did my base in black, like my card base in black, and then the cauldron in black, and you kind of lose the cauldron in there. So this time I did my base in gray so that we can see the cauldron. Okay, so then cat's gonna go here. Do we want bubbles over the top? Oops, I got that backwards. Bubbles over the top or bubbles underneath? And I think, let's just try bubbles underneath. I still have that backwards. I think I have the paper backwards. There we go. I think I like the bubbles underneath this time. So I'm gonna do the bubbles, and then I'm gonna pop dot the cat. Or maybe not, because I'm gonna pop dot his hat. Bubbles. Okay, and then the cat, and then its hat. I think I can pop dot both. Let's do both. If you make a mistake, don't worry about it. Sometimes mistakes turn out even better once you have to figure out how to creatively cover it up or fix it. I can't even tell you how many times I've made a mistake and then gone to cover it up and liked what I came up with better than what I was going for the first time. So experiment with it, play with it. This thing I took apart probably 4 times last night. You can see where the panels are kind of rubbing on the edges and kind of rounded. It's because I pulled them out like 4 times. Then the bubbles were in the back and I cut them off and moved them. The ghost was right there. I cut him off and moved him. So experiment, right? Play with it, figure out what makes it cute, unique, yours. Okay, so now the hat. I'm going to put a big pop dot here and then a medium one, probably 2 medium ones out the end just to kind of support it. Very cute. And then we need the hat band, which goes across the front. Hopefully I glued the right side of that because this pattern paper is like almost identical on both sides. Good enough. I didn't ink the belt buckle because I wanted it to like have the idea of shimmery, and if you put ink on it, it would make it look dirty. I might add some glitter glue or something to it later. I have some kind of like little shiny dot thingies too that I could, like sequins, I could always add. I might add those to the bubbles actually. We'll see where we get here in a second. Okay, so that looks like that's it for this panel. Now we're on this back panel, ready for more bubbles. But first, we're going to lay down this orange piece. Okay, and it should line up with your bubbles and your leaf. Kind of supports the leaf. There's some adhesive stuck to that. Okay. So that's attached, and then we need this, and it could go, so I inked one on this side. I have two of them, one on this side and one on this side, so I could decide which way I liked better. Do I like the orange? Do I like the stripes? And I think I'm actually going to go with the orange so that it doesn't pull away from the cat's hat. So that goes on next. And then we can start the bubbles, and I am going to attach them and then pop dot them. So we want this bubble to go here, and this bubble to go here, and then I'll pop dot those there. One more bubble. You're going to have some leftover stars too. You can either find a way to incorporate them or use them for something else. Right now it looks like I've got two. I think I'm going to put them on the side with the spider, but I haven't decided yet. Okay, so some pop dots over here. When you give this as a gift, if you want, you can add some photos on there, or another little cute saying, depending on what you've got for supplies. If you've got a stamp, that would be cute right there, or another little Halloween character. There's so many things you could do. Let's make sure I glue this the right way here. Okay, so the glue goes on this side. Get the tips there. The leaf on there. I think I might add some sparkle to this part too, like maybe some glitter glue to the edges. That needs to go under. Okay. That might need a little more glue. We'll wait and see what it does. Okay, so this inside panel is done now as well. So let's put them together, and then we'll figure out where we're going to put some of these extras. And we need this little spider. Okay. So I'm going to move that out of the way, this out of the way. So the first thing you're going to want to do is take your front and your back, and they should, I did it to myself again. Did I do it upside down? Yep, I did this last night too. This thing is on the wrong side, and I'm pretty sure I moved that over and it's upside down. So that means that when I glued this on, I glued it on upside down. So I did that to myself last night too. Okay, just in case you accidentally do this to yourself too, like you forget to cut this and then you glue it on the wrong side like I did, I'm going to show you my quick workaround on this. So the reason why I'm doing this is because this is supposed to be, there's supposed to be a panel that actually lines up on this side. This gluing panel is supposed to be here on the right hand side, so that there's one here and one back there, and then you just glue your box together all nice and neat, right? Well, I've got two panels, so I'm going to cut this one off. create a new one out of gray, and I actually grabbed black instead of gray. So I got this gray paper here, and I'm just going to make a new panel. So give myself some space to fold it and glue it. Make it the same height as my card. It can be a little bit smaller. Okay. Move this out of the way. Just going to fold this in half. Then I'm going to make sure I glue this on the right side and double check my file. I know I fixed this last night though, so I think what happened was when I cut that top off, I glued it on the wrong side, not thinking about which way it went, because I flipped the paper around. So glue that on there to make a hinge. And now, while that's kind of setting up, we'll start gluing back here. So put some glue on this flap. I just did that on the wrong side. Put it on the outside of the flap. Spread it around. And then glue that panel to it. This would be where that score tape would work way better. So kind of hold that for a second while it seals and gets down in all those little fibers. And now you should have the front of your box, the back of your box, right? And a flap ready to go over here. And it should be that way for you anyway when you cut it out, unless you did like I did and cut that part off and then had to redo. Okay, so then I'm going to put a little bit of glue here. And those panels, or the box itself, is glued together and ready to go. Now we just have to add the inside panels and some decorations to the outside edges. I'm going to do the glue, this ghosty while I'm waiting, because I want him on there and I want some of that glue to dry on the panels that I just, or the edges of the box, so he can go on there. And then I think I'm just going to put a heart. There we go. And then on this side, I was going to do a star. And this other spider. That's why I included two spiders. You don't really need both of them, but he's so dang cute that I figured I'd include him and put him on in two places. Kind of like a little peekaboo because he's black and he hides in there, but he's fun. Which I guess by the time I'm done, I got 3 spiders on there. That goes well. Okay, so you've got the box. Now let's start putting our panels in. So I'm going to start with the back panel, which is this one, and I'm going to touch it right up against the edges of that back, and that's how I'm going to get my spacing. So it's going to start squished up against the back. See how I've got like a good 1/2 inch there? Okay. So glue your sides, and you just kind of put it down until the top edge is flush with the top edge of the card box. Okay, so kind of fold those in while you stick it in there and let it go out to the edges. And then press and hold. I'm going to use this, kind of run it down through there. Get a good seal. I tried doing this while it's open last night and it didn't go well for me. I overlapped on accident and they were crooked, and then they it wouldn't fold flat when I was trying to fold it later. So I'd recommend you just do it while it's closed like this. Okay, so I just pushed that so that it was flush all the way down inside there. It's kind of hard to see on the camera, but this edge down here wasn't quite flush, so I just pressed it over. Okay, so that's panel 1. Panel 2 is the cat. Should have added some glitter glue to his cauldron. I think I'm going to add those other little glittery things, the little pop-up dots though. Okay, so then this one goes until it just barely touches the edge of the one behind it, and then just make sure it's flush with the top of your box. Okay, same thing, kind of press it until you get it in there, until that glue starts to grab a hold. Turn it this way, press it, scooch that back just a little. Kind of feel like a dentist reaching in there. Okay, and then the last one is the bubbles. Fold those edges in and hold them until you get it in there. And then just so it's barely touching the panel behind it. And that should give it a little bit of space in front of it too. Okay, press on, wait for them to dry. And there you go. Okay, definitely like that leaf better on the other side. I don't know about you. And it just looks a little bit like easier to see and clean. I liked these 3D bubbles here, but I didn't do that with that one. I just did it the one time. But I think it's going to make it easier for it to fold flat too. Let's see. So you should be able to squish it over and fold it flat, either direction. Right? And then you can put it in an envelope and ship it off. Okay, there's an envelope included in the SVG file, and it's super quick and easy to fold. Just looks like that. And you should have marked the score lines when you were having it cut on your Cricut. So you fold this edge up, fold these edges in, and you can glue it either way. You can either glue it with these flaps down or this flap over the top, right? And then this flap comes down and you are good to go. Okay, if you have any questions, just let me know. You can add a comment or you can email me, lemonyfizz or hello@lemonyfizz.com.